Welcome back to the channel. I'm Algabot, and in this video we're going to break down a MetaTrader 5 expert advisor called Range Edge Momentum Thrust. This is a price action strategy that blends two classic ideas, a breakout from a price range and a momentum confirmation from a single decisive candle. There are no oscillators here, just the structure of the market itself and a measure of volatility called the average true range. By the end, you'll understand how it spots a setup, how it manages risk, and how the logic looks inside the code. Let's get started. Remember, this is educational only. Let's start with the big picture. Range Edge Momentum Thrust is an expert advisor for MetaTrader 5 built around two simple observations about how markets behave. First, price often spends long stretches trapped inside a horizontal range, drifting between a ceiling and a floor while buyers and sellers stay balanced. Second, when that balance finally tips, the move that pushes price out of the range can either be hesitant and quickly faded, or decisive and likely to continue. This strategy is designed to participate only in the decisive kind. To do that, it watches two things. The first is the range edge, which is simply the highest high and the lowest low of a fixed number of completed bars sitting just before the current signal candle. By default, it looks back over 20 bars, and that band of recent highs and lows forms a fresh shelf of resistance above and support below. The second is momentum, measured through the average true range, a standard gauge of how much an instrument typically moves. The strategy uses the average true range over a 14-bar window to decide whether a breakout candle is genuinely strong or just ordinary noise. The intended home for this expert advisor is an active currency major, such as the British pound against the US dollar on the 15-minute chart. But because every calculation references whatever time frame you loaded on, you can study it across different time frames in the strategy tester. It is best suited to traders who are drawn to breakout and momentum styles, who prefer clean price action rules over a screen full of oscillators, and who want every entry tied to a clearly defined level. As always, this is educational information only, and trading carries real risk. Now let's walk through the logic step by step. The expert advisor only acts once per completed bar, so it ignores the noise of every tick and waits for a candle to fully close before making any decision. When a new bar opens, the bar that just finished becomes the signal candle, and the strategy lines up everything it needs around that candle. First, it calculates the average true range over the chosen period, 14 bars by default, to understand the current level of volatility. If that value is not valid, it simply waits. Next, it measures the range edge. It scans the 20 bars immediately before the signal candle and records the highest high and the lowest low across that window. That highest high is the resistance shelf, and that lowest low is the support shelf. Then it inspects the signal candle itself with 3 momentum checks. It measures the body, which is the distance between the open and the close. It measures the full range, from high to low, and it calculates where the close sits inside that range, expressed as a fraction from 0 at the low to 1 at the high. For a long signal, 3 conditions must all line up. The close must finish above the resistance shelf. The body must be at least the body multiple, 0.7 by default, times the average true range, proving the candle is genuinely strong. And the close must land in the upper portion of the candle, at or above 66% of its range, showing the push held into the close rather than fading back. A short signal is the mirror image, the close below the support shelf, the same strong body requirement, and a close sitting in the lower portion of the candle. The expert advisor allows only one position per magic number at a time, so it never stacks trades on top of each other. When a long signal appears and no position is open, it buys at the ask. The protective stop is placed 1.5 times the average true range below the entry, and the target is set 2.5 times the average true range above it. A short signal does the same in reverse, selling at the bid with the stop above and the target below. That fixed structure gives every trade a planned reward-to-risk profile of roughly 1.67 to 1. Let's look at how this reads inside MetaEditor. At the top are the input parameters you can adjust before running the expert advisor. Range period, set to 20, defines how many bars form the shelf to break. ATR period, set to 14, is the average true range length. BodyAtrMult multiple, at 0.7, is the minimum body size for the breakout candle. Close PCT, at 0.66, controls how close to the extreme the candle must finish. SlAtrMult and TpAtrMult at 1.5 and 2.5 size the stop and the target in average true range multiples. Lots sets the trade size, and magic tags the orders. Just below, the code finds the prior high and prior low, the range edge over those 20 bars. Then it builds the two breakout conditions. For a long, the Boolean long break is true when the signal close is above the prior high, the body is strong, and the close position is at or above close PCT. For a short break is true when the close is below the prior low, the body is strong, and the close position is at or below 1 minus close PCT. When long break is true, the code reads the ask price as the entry, sets the stop 1.5 average true range below and the target 2.5 above, and calls trade.buy. When short break is true instead, it reads the bid price, places the stop above and the target below, and calls trade.sell. Both sides use the same volatility-based spacing, so the risk framework stays consistent whether the strategy is going long or short. Let's bring the logic to life on this illustration of the British pound against the US dollar. Watch the price action only chart, with two dashed reference lines drawn across it. The red line is the range high shelf at 1.2720, and the green line is the range low shelf at 1.2748. We begin on the left, where the first several candles drift sideways in a tight band. Notice how their highs keep stalling right around the range high shelf at 1.2720. This is the kind of balanced market the strategy waits on. The fourth candle in this cluster pokes up and just touches the shelf, but its close slides back down inside the range. That is exactly the weak, indecisive kind of break the strategy is built to ignore, because the body is small and the close did not hold near the top. Then the decisive candle arrives. The sixth candle opens near the shelf and expands sharply upward, closing well above the range high shelf at 1.2720 and finishing right near its own high. This is the power candle the strategy is looking for. Its body clears the 0.7 average true range requirement, and its close lands far into the upper portion of the range, well past the 66% mark. All three long conditions are satisfied, so a signal is registered. On the very next bar you can see the buy entry marker, where the expert advisor enters long at the ask. Just below it sits the stop-loss marker, placed 1.5 average true range beneath the entry, underneath the broken shelf. From there, price extends higher across the following candles and reaches the take-profit target marker, set 2.5 average true range above the entry. That completes the long example with the planned reward-to-risk structure of roughly 1.67 to 1. Now the chart shifts into a short setup. After the advance, price rolls over and begins to consolidate again, this time building a new floor. The candles in the middle of the chart settle into a fresh range, and their lows gather along the green range low shelf at 1.2748. Once more the market is coiling, waiting for one side to take initiative. The decisive move comes from the candle that opens near the support and drops sharply, closing below the range low shelf at 1.2748 and finishing right near its own low. This is the bearish mirror of the earlier power candle. Its body clears the same average true range requirement, and its close sits deep in the lower portion of the range, inside the bottom 34%. The short conditions are all satisfied, so a short signal is registered. On the next bar, the sell entry marker appears, where the expert advisor enters short at the bid. The stop-loss marker sits above it, 1.5 average true range over the entry, just above the broken support. Price then works its way lower over the final candles and reaches the take-profit target marker, placed 2.5 average true range below the entry. Step back and look at the whole picture. In both directions the recipe was identical. Price spent time inside a defined range, building a clear shelf. A single, strong candle closed beyond that shelf and held near its extreme. The strategy entered on the next bar, anchored its stop and target to volatility, and let the position run to one outcome or the other. Notice that it sat out the weak break earlier, which is the whole point of the momentum filter. Of course, not every breakout follows through. Some candles clear the shelf and then reverse straight back into the stop, and that is a normal part of any breakout approach. This illustration shows the intended behavior, not a typical or promised result. That brings us to the end of our breakdown of the Range Edge Momentum Thrust Expert Advisor. We covered the core idea of pairing a range breakout with a momentum filter, walked through the exact entry and exit rules, read the key logic inside the meta editor code, and followed a long and a short example candle by candle on the chart. Hopefully you now have a clearer picture of how the strategy defines a shelf, qualifies a power candle, and frames its risk with the average true range. Remember, everything here is for educational purposes only and is not financial advice, a recommendation, or a solicitation to trade. If you found this helpful, please like the video, leave a comment with the strategy you'd like us to analyze next, and subscribe for more MetaTrader 5 strategy breakdowns. You can find more at www.algobot.live. Past performance does not guarantee future results. Trade responsibly.